But today, if I don't get killed by this bus, I'm going to go to Ecuador.
So you're very safe. You won't get shot here.
Not far from the border now. I was determined not to stuff this up today, but sure enough I have. I'm starting to think I'm the problem. Welcome to Ecuador. Swap the panniers for a little backpack that I managed to hire from an outdoor store.
Absolutely spectacular. Little did I know, I had a tough night ahead.
Well, after a really enjoyable week of surfing at Lobitos, I'm now heading north again. Only about an hour or so up the road to Los Órganos, where I'll hopefully get some waves again for a few days before heading north to Ecuador. A bit of oil art. Welcome to town.
I've stopped for a couple of days at the beachside town of Los Órganos here on the northwest coast of Peru. And when I checked into my accommodation, a very friendly fella there, and he was saying, oh, you know, this is a really safe place here. You'll like Los Órganos. You're very safe. You won't get shot here. And I thought, well, that's encouraging.
I had a very enjoyable 3 days there in Los Órganos. Beautiful spot to go surfing, and nice friendly vibe in the water. Yeah, it was really good. But today, if I don't get killed by this bus, I'm going to... Jeez, really? I'm going to go to Ecuador. That's the plan. So, see how we get on when we reach the border.
After leaving Peru behind, I would enter Ecuador and overnight on the border in Huaquillas. Then, next morning, climb up to Girón and on to Cuenca. From there, I would visit El Cajas National Park.
Pretty. Not far from the border now, and I'm hoping everything's going to go smoothly. Okay, well, this will be interesting, as it always is. I'll see you on the other side, all going well. I was determined not to stuff this up today, but sure enough I have. So the group of buildings back here is the passport control and customs for Peru, which I went straight past. And, you know, we're not an English-speaking country, so I don't expect there to be English. But at an international border, it definitely helps. And yeah, I didn't understand the Spanish that was saying, Jim, you need to stop here, mate, get your passport stamped and get the customs control, submit your TIP, etc. So I'm going back, which is what I've done like so many times. starting to think I'm the problem. So it turns out I was actually right. I was in the right spot over the other side, even though it looked like I'd been past anything and everything to do with Peru, and all the signs were for Ecuador and Ecuadorian processes. But now I've been told, no, I was actually in the right spot after all. So just wasted about 45 minutes waiting around here to see people I didn't need to see. So despite being right in the first place, I've still managed to, oh, now I'm lost in here, still managed to keep my record intact for not being able to get past a international border without fucking something up. And now I'm just going to do a dodgy U-turn, and I'm going to jump the curb and go back where I was supposed to go in the first place. Okay. Oh, I had a good feeling about today too. I was sure I was going to get through all right. Anyway, I'd say live and learn, but I do more of the living and less of the learning. Anyone fancy a banana with dual citizenship? God, I don't know what that was, or whether I was supposed to drive through it, but probably a forever chemical. Welcome to Ecuador. Well, that was a bit of a performance. That was one of the more confusing crossings I've done as to where to go to submit my temporary import permit for Peru, and then where to go to pick up my temporary import permit for Ecuador. But anyway, got there in the end after much dicking around. Now I've got a short trip to my hotel. I just booked somewhere in this local town because even though all the travel advice said don't go here, I figured that I couldn't go too far wrong with just booking a local hotel for the night that's had good reviews as being secure for parking for the bike and safe for the occupant. So that's my plan. Well, this is a very pleasant change from the chaotic traffic in Peru. I'm not sure if this is an indicator of what it's going to be like in many parts of Ecuador, but geez, I'm really enjoying this. I haven't had one near-death experience on the roads yet this morning, and I've already been going for 3 minutes. As my mate Drew always used to say, always remember, safety third. I wonder what percentage of the world's bananas come out of Ecuador. I've certainly seen little Ecuador stickers on bananas all over the place. I like bananas. It's decidedly more humid here. coming out of the dry coastal desert in Peru, and now I'm up over the border. It's starting to get a bit sticky, and I'm heading for Cuenca today, which is apparently at, I think it's about 2,500 meters elevation, so it'll be decidedly more chilly up there, and I'll have to try and get used to the altitude again. This is certainly a change from the dusty coast of Peru. One day later, back in the jungle. And I've just seen my first adventure bikes in, since I can't remember actually. Pretty. Only a short distance out of town there's quite a nice waterfall, so I thought I'd go and check it out and have a bite to eat while I'm there. Watch out, kitties. Ah, more Aussie trees. Got a slightly European feel about it. Gee, what a lovely spot.
On my way to the Chorro de Girón. That sounded kind of French, so it's probably really badly pronounced. But I'm off to the waterfalls. Nice. There was only a couple of staircases of wooden steps to get up here, but ooh, I must be back at altitude. I felt it a little bit, I've got to admit. Excuse me, won't you? I'm just about to take a moment of joy. That old Ecuadorian proverb, trust in Jesus, but always chock your wheels.
Seemingly not unusual in South America to just come across a street fiesta or a procession or something. It just seems to come out of nowhere and away it goes. So fun though this is, I think I need to find a different way to go. Unless I can sneak up the side with a couple of mates here. No, I think I want to go another way. After a couple of days in Cuenca, checking out the museums and archaeological sites, I'm heading up to Cajas National Park to do an overnight walk. And at least down here in town, the weather is absolutely perfect. Up in the mountains, I expect it to be a little bit chillier and probably a little bit cloudier and maybe a little bit wetter. But I've got all the gear for all the conditions, so looking forward to it. Watch out for alpacas. Wow, amazing. Pretty country, pretty country. There's lots of eucalypts. Having to leave the Tenere overnight, I was hoping I'd get a fairly safe spot for it. And I reckon I have, right outside the park office. Swapped the panniers for a little backpack that I managed to hire from an outdoor store. So I've got something to carry my kit. That's not a bad view. I'm only about 500 metres from the Ranger Station Visitor Centre. And this place is already absolutely spectacular. One thing's for sure, it's impossible to pick a bad place for lunch. I'd only seen a handful of other hikers early on near the ranger station, but all afternoon I'd had the national park to myself. Despite the 4,000 metre elevation, I was feeling pretty good and looking forward to camping in the beauty and solitude of Cajas. Little did I know, I had a tough night ahead. Managed to stay dry all day. It was getting starting to look a little dark and nasty, and we had a brief shower of rain, but now it's clearing up again. And I'm less than a K from the lake where I'm hoping to camp tonight. There was some cattle over there. And there's a little bit of cloud coming in. But yeah, it's looking fantastic. Shower of rain now. We'll see how long it lasts. Rain looks like it's set in for a while, so packed it in for the day, and I found myself a little rock shelter, which is pretty handy. There's not many of them around. The cliffs are fairly sheer, but I've got a nice little rock overhang here. A bit hard to see. So, yeah, space enough for the bivvy bag. At just over 4,000 metres, or 13,000 feet, this was the highest spot I'd ever camped. Although I was warm and dry, I had a disrupted sleep. Central sleep apnea is apparently very common when spending nights above 3,000 metres and affects nearly everyone at 4,000 metres and above.
Lower air pressure triggers faster and deeper breathing, which is the body's response to less available oxygen. This lowers the level of carbon dioxide in your body, which the brain detects, and in an effort to elevate CO2, stops you breathing. This results in an irregular breathing pattern when you are trying to sleep. Big deep breaths followed by a period of no breathing, which apparently can last up to 15 seconds. Then waking with a start when, feeling like you're suffocating, you gasp in the next big breath. It's pretty uncomfortable and makes you feel like you're constantly waking up, which, for periods of the night, you probably are. I definitely was. I had experienced central sleep apnea when I visited Cusco in Peru, but it was definitely worse in my mountainside camp in Cajas National Park. Despite my patchy sleep, I was feeling okay and looking forward to my day's hike. Apparently there's lots of different mammals here in Cajas National Park. Could be a little fox, that one. Dos horas. That'll get me back to the road, and then I reckon I've got probably a couple of k's up to the ranger station. Oh, I hope the weather's going to hold. Fingers crossed. Steep descent. With heavy clouds rolling in, it felt like a race against time to make it back to the ranger station before the rain arrived. There are pumas here in the national park, and although my chance of seeing a puma is about 1,000,000 to 1, that certainly won't stop me keeping my eye out for them. Nearing the end of the hike, Cajas still had some amazing views to share. You're still here, mate. That's good to see. Did you sit up all night talking adventure stories with your KLR, mate?
Well, that hike in Cajas National Park is right up there with the best I've done since I left Australia. Absolutely fantastic.
I would spend another couple of days in Cuenca before continuing my journey north. My hike in Cajas National Park was just a taste of things to come. I would soon be visiting two of Ecuador's most spectacular volcanoes. G'day everyone, Jim here. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Please give this video a like, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support.